And the next question begins with you, Mr. Kavanaugh. Briefly describe your philosophy of the judicial role and the qualities that are most important to being a judge.
Well, when you run for judge, you have certain parameters that you have to follow. In the Code of Judicial Conduct, it tells you cannot make promises except to be fair and impartial. And I believe that is obviously the most important thing that a judge can do, is to be fair to everyone that appears before them, whether they're poor, they're rich, regardless of race, religion, or creed, whether they're the police or the defense, it doesn't matter. The judge has to be fair to everybody. And when you're impartial as a judge, you get the respect of everybody that appears before you. I've had people that were convicted come up to me afterwards and thank me after they've been sentenced because they were treated fairly. That's quite an accomplishment when somebody that is paying the price of doing a crime is thanking you for being treated fairly. And I think that a judge that's fair and impartial is what we all can expect and you will get if I am elected. Thank you.
Mr. McLean.
Well, I think the first thing is that any good judge makes his decisions based solely upon the law and the facts. There's no political consideration or special interest group consideration in his decisions, and the basis of that is the judge's integrity. But secondly, I think that a good judge takes the bench at 8:30 in the morning and is ready to go to work when he tells the people that they're supposed to be there. The other thing that I think a good judge does is he treats everybody who comes before him with dignity and respect. And one of the other things a good district court judge does is he works a full day. As long as everybody else is there working, he works till 4:30 or 7 o'clock. He doesn't leave early. The other thing that I think a good judge, district court or otherwise, can do is a small sense of humor in the courtroom helps relieve the tension of people a lot of times who are absolutely petrified of being there. I think all of those things are good attributes of a judge.
And this is the final question, and it begins with you, Mr. McLean. Do you possess any expertise in a field other than law?
Yes, I do. Well, some people think that I do. I have been a coach for the Livonia Hockey Association for over 15 years. When I was going to college, I was fortunate enough to be a walk-on up at Michigan State, and ever since my wife and I have been married, I've been involved in hockey. We were fortunate enough in the 2001-2002 year to win the prestigious Silver Stick Tournament in Newmarket, Ontario. We were the only team from Livonia to ever do that. The other thing that I think I have an expertise in, but it doesn't have anything to do with me, is I have B-negative blood, which is fairly rare. I have been an apheresis donor for over 20 years, and the way I got hooked into doing that was through my wife. After we were married about 30 years ago, she said to me, "We're going to give blood." They found out that I had B-negative, so they asked me to be an apheresis donor.
And the same question to you, Mr. Kavanaugh.
I'm just a regular O-positive donor, but I think I'm the most wanted donor, and I've been doing it for over 30 years. Many gallons, I think it says on the card. My expertise is helping others outside of the legal system and in the legal system. I've donated a lot of time for pro bono legal work where we just don't charge anybody that we give legal advice to. And remember, you get what you pay for. The other thing is I've donated a lot of times to charities here in the city of Livonia and throughout the metropolitan area. I stood outside of many businesses and on the street here in the city of Livonia for the Goodfellows for over 20 years, collecting donations for those that are in need and can't help themselves. I've also donated time to Focus Hope in the city of Detroit and a blood donor and many other charities at Monahan Knights of Columbus where we spend our time. I'm an expert at raising money. When it comes time to ask people for money on the street, I can usually get it. Thank you.
It is now time for our 2-minute closing statements, and we will begin with you, Mr. Kavanaugh.
I have to put my glasses on because I can't read my writing without it. Thank you. I, again, would like to thank the League of Women Voters for sponsoring this forum and all the audience members who came out tonight and anybody that's watching in TV land. If you elect me as your next district judge, you're going to get somebody who is not going to have to learn the job on the job. I've been sitting in that court for 13 years as the prosecutor. I've been sitting at this council table here before as a city councilman and as a city attorney. I was a legislator as a city councilman. I also was sitting for a while as Assistant Attorney General for the state of Michigan, handling felony child support cases. I've defended the accused in courts all over the state of Michigan for over 25 years. You're going to get somebody who knows both sides of the law, somebody that knows what it's like to fight government when you're representing a defendant, and somebody who knows what it's like to represent the police department and as a prosecutor. There have been many instances where I've represented people who didn't have money to pay me, and of course you can't turn people down when you're in a private practice. I know that if people come in front of the judge in the district court, half the people don't have any money to hire a lawyer, and they're going to be treated just as fairly as those that have that silk stocking lawyer standing next to them. There's nothing worse than having a judge who is impatient, that loses his temper, and frankly that doesn't pay attention to the people that are standing before them. You're going to get a judge in me who will pay attention to everybody. Somebody that's on time, somebody that will work hard, and yes, somebody that will work all day long and make sure that the docket is not jammed up all at one time and that people don't have to stand in line and wait and blow all the time that they normally could use for their family or for work. Thank you.
And to you, Mr. McLean.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, my passion in life has always been the law. I knew from the time that I was 13 years old that I wanted to be involved in our justice system. I knew that I wanted to devote my time and energy to making sure that the power and the authority of the law were used to uphold what is right. Fairness, accountability, responsibility, trust, and hard work, values that were instilled in me by my parents a long time ago, are the attributes that I will bring to this position. I promise that everyone who appears before me will be treated with dignity and respect. I will handle each case fairly and with absolute honesty. I also promise you that I'll be on the bench at 8:30 in the morning, and I'll be working in that courthouse until the close of business each day. I am not a politician. I am the only candidate here who can truthfully say that he is nonpartisan. I will stand for the ideals of the law and what the law should be. I will not worry about appeasing the interest of politicians or special interest groups. When I make a decision, it'll be because it is what I think is just, what is the right thing to do, not the politically expedient thing to do. I will work to make sure that we can keep that courthouse open one night a week until 7 p.m. so that citizens who want to do something like challenge a traffic ticket can do that without having to take a day off of work. Isn't that the least that we can do for our citizens? Ladies and gentlemen, in this position, we need somebody who can be completely impartial and non-biased. Please vote for me on November 4th for Livonia District Court Judge. I promise you that your trust will not have been misplaced. Thank you.